Not long ago, Lana Del Rey released a new album. In an interview with Billie Eilish, the singer revealed that she worked on the new album for over a year and mentioned that the original title was supposed to be even longer, but she settled on this version. Throughout her nearly 40-year career, Lana Del Rey has experienced numerous highs and lows, but for many fans, she remains a true music goddess. It's not just her unconventional appearance that takes us back to the 1950s in American history. It's her music that has remained relevant over the years. Perhaps there aren't many people in the industry who are simultaneously deeply loved and deeply hated, and Lana Del Rey happens to be one of them. Why? Let's try to figure it out. For her 35th anniversary, Lana Del Rey was expected to come out triumphant. The commercial success of her album Norman fucking Rockwell was not extraordinary. Any record by this singer is guaranteed to be listened to by tens of millions of people, and there's no denying that fact. However, it was with the release of this album that Del Rey began to be widely perceived as a truly serious artist creating significant art. She was consciously moving towards this status. Born to Die, the debut album by Lizzie Grant, or rather the stage name she adopted, seemed to embody a kind of toy-like music filled with deliberate hypersexuality and representing bad taste. Video Games and Blue Jeans, the two luxurious ballads that became the album's main singles, positioned Lana Del Rey as a newly emerged goddess of sultry songs. However, almost all the other tracks on Born to Die were not their complete opposite, but certainly stood out from their restrained beauty and specific charm. In combination with her appearance, Lana Del Rey looked like an exaggerated unmarried beauty from the 1950s, but with an obviously heightened level of vulgarity for the 2010s. The artist was destined for success, but also faced fierce hate from feminists. Since 2012, when Born to Die was released, Del Rey had been constantly accused for glorifying stereotypes that had nothing to do with modern times. Her image, songs, lyrics, and videos, essentially herself, seemed ideologically outdated, unnecessary, and even harmful to a significant number of people. No matter how much Lana experimented with sound and visuals, complaints were still made about her criminal non-modernity and aesthetics that she chose as foundational. Despite ongoing conversations about female liberation and emancipation, critics argued that Lana Del Rey was rehabilitating the times when women were practically objects, when they had no desires other than to be needed by men, and when the world revolved solely around personal relationships. Overall, Lana Del Rey's origin and biography align well with the concept of traditional America. Elizabeth Woolridge Grant was born on June 21, 1985 in New York. Her father, Robert Grant Jr., was a successful entrepreneur and heir to a prominent banker, while her mother, Patricia Ann, was a middle school teacher. Lana grew up in Lake Placid and attended a Catholic school, where she sang in multiple church choirs. As a teenager, Lizzie studied at an elite boarding school, where she developed alcoholism from the ages of 15 to 18. After finishing school, Grant declined admission to New York University, where her parents wanted her to go. She moved in with her uncle on Long Island. Successfully overcoming her destructive habit, she began working in alcohol rehabilitation centers. Lizzie also volunteered at shelters for homeless children and once traveled across the country with friends to the Navajo reservation, where she helped repair houses for Native Americans. Her uncle taught her how to play the guitar, and it was during that time that she became seriously interested in songwriting. In the fall of 2004, she eventually enrolled in the philosophy department at Fordham University and returned to New York. In 2005, Lizzie recorded a demo album titled Sirens under the pseudonym May Jailer and started looking for a producer. In 2007, she managed to sign a contract with the independent label 5 Points. In 2008, her album Kill Kill was released, followed by Lana Del Rey in 2010. Neither of these albums gained significant popularity. Her career was at a standstill, and in 2010, Lizzie terminated her contract with 5 Points and found new managers. The following year, several homemade music videos by a young singer performing under the pseudonym Lana Del Rey were uploaded to YouTube. One of them, for the song Video Games, became a true internet sensation.
It's all for you. Everything.
Music critics dubbed Lana as the gangster version of Nancy Sinatra, as she aptly tapped into the trend of widespread fascination with retro aesthetics. Much of her work is a reference to American culture from the 1930s to the 1970s, at least until her 2019 album. Norman fucking Rockwell was Del Rey's project to distance herself from the danger of completely aligning with the mood of the era. Why did the English-speaking press, which had previously criticized her previous albums, unanimously declare this album, where there are no hints, no coquetting, and no flirting, a masterpiece, even with lines that are typical of contemporary rap artists? Firstly, on Norman fucking Rockwell, Del Rey moved away from using highly American iconography. The songs on the album now sounded as if they were directly from the perspective of Lizzie Grant herself. Secondly, working as the producer alongside the singer, Jack Antonoff came up with a musical accompaniment that both deepened the sultry beauty of Lana's best ballads and added exemplary complexity. It's no wonder that the first piece the artist decided to showcase to the public was the 9-minute-long Venice Bitch. This was enough to finally remove the questions about the legitimacy of using patriarchal aesthetics from the mainstream discourse surrounding Lana Del Rey. The discerning public now understood that the singer was not merely playing the role of a traditional housewife, but genuinely felt that way. It was indicative that the next step for Del Rey was meant to be a book. Despite being an artist who always loved provocation, she had never been noticed for taking significant career risks. Releasing such work without the proper reputation would have been unaffordable for her. It's likely that her poetry would have received its share of accolades if the singer hadn't spoiled it herself. In late May, almost 3 years ago, Del Rey published an emotional message accusing critics of denying her womanhood, essentially attacking feminists. Perhaps all the frustrations of previous years had built up for her. Lana accused society of glorifying body-selling artists like Beyoncé or Doja Cat, and revealed that she didn't feel like she was given the opportunity to be herself. And that's when everything crumbled. Not only did the multiple chart-topping record holder and one of the most famous singers on the planet suggest that she wasn't getting enough attention, but the list of artists Del Rey juxtaposed herself with consisted almost entirely of black singers. Lana Del Rey was immediately cancelled on social media, to the extent that her openly Hispanic pseudonym, which the previously 100% white New York native used without any scandals or unwanted attention, became the subject of extensive discussions around her personality. Despite subsequent explanations and justifications, Del Rey's reputation suffered severely, especially against the backdrop of the Black Lives Matter protests.
Oh my God, I feel it in the air, telephone wires above.
Was the singer completely cancelled? It would be an exaggeration to say that's exactly what happened. Of course, such hate could not fail to affect Lana, but she still remains more than just a sought-after artist. And by the way, despite all the backlash from the community, she did not abandon traditional American pin-up aesthetics on her albums Chemtrails Over the Country Club and Blue Banisters, released in 2021.
It's never too late, baby, so don't give up.
Meanwhile, nothing stops her from conflicting with Kanye West over his love for former US President Donald Trump. As a Republican, Trump embodied everything that the very same people who cancelled Lana Del Rey now despise. However, she maintains a critical stance towards Trump. For example, it became difficult for the singer to romanticize America after Trump became the country's most prominent celebrity. In protest, Lana has abandoned pro-American imagery. For instance, the US flag no longer waves during her performances, against which Del Rey used to sing Born to Die. By the way, the conflict with West is not the only connection between Lizzie Grant and the rap game. Not only does she consider Eminem her idol, but she has also collaborated with The Weeknd, $1 AP Rocky, and Playboy Carti.
Any hood with the top out, hop out, hop out.
Hip hop in the summer.
That's all for today. What do you think about Lana Del Rey? Share your opinion in the comments, give likes, and subscribe to the channel. Goodbye, everyone.